Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to look at a different device, a little older one back from 2019. Namely this bad boy here, the iPad Air 3, specifically my iPad Air 3. I've had this one since late 2019, so a little bit over a year now. And we're going to take a look if it's still worth it in 2021, if it's any good. If you own it, should you consider getting rid of it? And if you don't own it, should you actually look to purchase it from somewhere? Let's find out in the minutes ahead. Now, a small disclaimer here. I'm going to be discussing a slightly older product and one that you can't buy new anymore. The iPad here in question, and I'll also discuss similar products in the future on the channel. Now, why should you actually consider buying used products? I myself haven't done that until about two and a half years ago. But I'm now considering purchasing mostly used, slightly used, or already unboxed items. Why? Well, basically, in the world of consumer electronics, they lose a lot of value really fast. As soon as they're taken out of the box and the plastic wrap is taken off, the product loses about 20% to 30% of its value. And if you buy it about a few months down the road, it can actually be 40 to 50% cheaper in some cases. So a big win there for you because you make a lot of savings. Also, as a caveat, if you want to be eco-friendly but still love gadgets, this may be a great way to go. Because in the life of such a product, the most carbon-intensive processes are its initial manufacture, its initial transportation from the place where it's being manufactured, usually somewhere around Southeast Asia, to the market where it gets sold in your region, and the third most problematic is when it gets thrown away, usually ends up in a landfill somewhere, again polluting the environment. If you're buying a used device, you get rid of all of these three steps. First of all, no new manufacture. It's already being manufactured, so that goes out the equation. Secondly, it's already been shipped. You're probably buying it locally from a retailer or from a person somewhere in your region, so the shipping is not as polluting as it would be otherwise. And also, by buying a used product, you are prolonging its life, so making sure it doesn't end in a landfill anytime soon. So with these already discussed, let's move to the hands-on portion of the video. And now on to the hands-on part of this video, where we're gonna go over the design of the tablet and its actual functionalities. Basically, the design borrowed from the 2017 iPad Pro in the looks department, so it retains the same bezels and it retains the Touch ID on the home button. The design itself is still pretty attractive, looks still pretty sharp to this day. It has a premium feel in the hand, and it weighs 1 pound, so it's also pretty lightweight. I've actually kept this device in with a screen protector and in a carry case throughout my usage of it, well, most of it, so it's pretty much free of any dings and scratches and so on. Generally I do that because I'm pretty clumsy with my devices. I tend to drop them and better be safe than sorry. So, as I'm saying, it looks still very good to this day. The design is still pretty attractive. It feels like a premium product, and actually, I don't dislike the bezels at all. I think they're actually pretty good. You can grab onto the tablet itself while viewing media, so it's pretty good. Now, this iPad still has both a rear and a front-facing camera. The front-facing camera is a 7 megapixel, the same one as the iPhone 7, I believe. So, not great, not terrible would be an accurate description of it. The rear-facing camera is an 8 megapixel sensor. I'll share some photos that I will take with this camera, as well as a short recording of the front-facing camera. Basically, it's good that they're here, but other than that, not particularly good. The rear sensor can work in a pinch, and the front-facing camera will probably be decent-ish for Zoom calls and that sort of thing, but it's not ideally placed. For instance, in landscape mode, it's off to the side, so it's not ideal. With that being said, let's take a look at the front-facing camera in action. And this is the front-facing camera in action. Pretty much, this is the best you're gonna get. It's a little bit awkward filming first because I have to look off to the side. Like I said, the placing is not ideal for conferencing at all, because if you look at the screen, you're always going to appear to the person you're speaking to that you're looking off to the side, and if you look to the side, you're not focusing really well on the screen. But the front-facing camera is decent. It's going to be enough for FaceTime calls or video conferencing and that sort of thing. And now let's also look at some simple pics that I've taken with the camera, the rear sensor. As we can see, these are not ideal by any stretch of the imagination, but it works in a pinch. Basically, throughout my existence, I've actually never seen anyone take pictures with their tablets, but I don't know. It's good that it's there. In case you need it, you at least have the sensor to work with. So that's pretty good. Okay, now let's move on to the screen itself. So this is a 10.2 inch panel. Still has a 60 Hz refresh rate, so it doesn't borrow the Pro's adaptive refresh rate of 120. Let's check out Touch ID to unlock. And as we can see, the screen is still pretty good. Important, it has P3 white color gamut. It has 500 nits of maximum brightness, and it comes with True Tone actually, which I find rather useful. It has night shift and dark mode. So this is dark mode off, a little bit brighter, and with dark mode enabled, turns a little bit darker and makes everything a little bit more friendly to the user when it's dark outside. It doesn't have stereo speakers. It only has two bottom firing speakers. These are less than ideal, let's say. They're okay in terms of volume. You can listen to media quite well on it, but obviously the lack of the stereo experience that you get on the iPad Pro is a minus. With that being said, let's listen to them. Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. This time I'd like to discuss with you a very interesting topic. Should you buy an M1 powered MacBook today, or should you wait for the new... Okay, we've had enough of this guy. I guess it's as good time as any to ask you guys to subscribe and like the videos on my channel. It will really help my channel to grow and to reach a larger audience. And with that being said, let's move on to gaming. Now, this iPad supports PlayStation 4 controllers, like many of them do. And this means you will be able to enjoy gaming with or without a controller. Also, the hardware is still beefy enough that it can run pretty much any game you find in the App Store without any sort of problem. So let's give Samurai Jack here a try. As you see, the game was already loaded in the background. Let's turn up the volume a little bit. The game is vibrant, is easy to play, and there's absolutely no sort of lag anywhere. You can see that the experience is really fluid and everything looks good. Basically, in my experience, there's no single game that you're gonna find in the App Store that you're not gonna be able to play with this tablet. And actually, the big screen makes it really, really nice to use compared to something, let's say, an iPhone. This is definitely a better experience, at least for me. Okay. Now, another big feature that I'd like to talk about is the fact that iPad OS, since iPad OS 13, since last year, supports mouse control and keypads. Keypads were supported before, but they added mouse control that is actually completely usable and really, really good. And this has meant that I've actually used this tablet for work, so I've been able to connect remotely to my workstation and actually do my day-to-day tasks at work. So I jump remotely into a Windows machine. Not the most comfortable experience due to the screen size or lack of, because the screen is still 10 inches, but it is workable and it's perfectly fine. And in a pinch, you can actually work on this, as I've done quite a bit in the past. It also supports the Apple Pencil first generation. I'm not gonna demo that because I don't have it. My handwriting is absolutely horrible. But if you want to take notes, the Apple Pencil first gen is still workable. It's still good. Not as good as the second generation, but still, it will work. If you're a student or someone who needs to take notes on their iPad, this will give you the flexibility that you want. So overall, all of these additions help to make it quite a versatile machine. And if it's your only machine, basically you can even replace some of the work that you do with your laptop. Obviously, it doesn't go all the way in replacing a true MacBook or a PC or whatever, but you can do editing, browsing, you can use web apps on it, and so on. So basically, it adds a lot of functionality into this single device. And while it's compatible with the smart keyboard offered by Apple, you'll be happy to know that I've actually been using it with a very old, very cheap Lenovo keyboard from an older Android tablet that I had years ago, and that keyboard still works fine. There's absolutely no problems with it. So overall, I'd say my experience with this tablet has been very, very good. I think it's been really solid for me throughout the year and a half that I've used it. The battery life is also really solid. It will really get you through binge watching Netflix or other shows or other media content. It's going to last you multiple days, so it's really fine. So again, overall for me, this tablet has been really good to use, and I've really enjoyed my time with it. And now let's move on to the conclusions. Now on to the conclusions. The easy one first. If you already have the device, it's still a great device. Enjoy it. I wouldn't really consider switching from this to the iPad Air 4. Granted, the Air 4 is the overall better device, but this is still a great device to have. It's still going to get updates for quite a few more years. I'm willing to bet 2 or 3 years at least. Let's not remember that the chipset inside is also the chipset in the 10R, the iPhone 10R, which is still on sale, and in the base iPad, which again is still on sale. So these devices are going to be supported for quite a few years left. Now, if you don't own one, but want an iPad, and are considering this, first of all, keep in mind that, in my opinion at least, this is better than the base iPad, right? It has a laminated screen with True Tone. It has a better FaceTime camera, which is important. Let's not forget that the base iPad comes with a 1.2 megapixel front shooting camera, which is abysmal in this day and age. This one, although not great, is a little bit better. Now, try to get it at around the $400 mark or below that if possible. I've linked actually a link to Amazon in the description below, so if you're considering purchasing and you're doing it from that link, you'll be helping out the channel. Shop around, try to get a good deal, try to get a deal with warranty, and you'll be actually quite happy with it, as I think it offers quite a lot of bang for the buck. And with that being said, thank you very much, and I'll see you on the next video.